Well, hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Ranger Met Hour. How is everybody doing? As you can see, my background has changed. My head is the same a little bit, though. How are you guys doing today? Welcome and thank you for joining me on September the 22nd of 2024. You may remember from my last show, PE Slick Podcast and Slick A Better You. I did that from December 2019 until this year. I decided to do something new and different. I am older now, wiser. Not that I didn't do anything, but I just want to do something new and different. In the 5 years I've been doing this, I've met more people, done more things, and I kind of just want to do something new and different. Plus, I wanted to put my podcast on a new channel. My previous one was on the same channel I had where I did my short films and so forth. So I just want to do something new and different and pull away from the old and do something new. So I got some different guests coming on, and I'll announce who I have coming on next weekend. So today I am extremely happy because I got a guest coming on who is not only from Baltimore, where I am, but she's a talent. She's amazing. She's even going to be our next mayor, I hope. She might even change the world. But before we get started, we do have to pay bills around here. I'm going to do this as well, like I used to do. I'm going to play like a classic throwback commercial from the early years, and then I'll bring our guests on. So here we go.
Wanna give yourself a treat? You want a taste that can't be beat? Have a little sunshine, sunshine. Have a bunch, you can have it all. You have no cholesterol. Have a little sunshine, sunshine. Just about every cookie and cracker Sunshine makes has absolutely no cholesterol. Now what could be better than sunshine? Have a little sunshine. Have a little sunshine. Have a little sunshine.
This week I have Miss Johanna McGuire on, and I am pleased that she's here. And let's bring her on. Dun, 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 dun. Hi
Hello.
there.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
And my goodness, we must be in the same house, same background and everything.
Yeah, had to copy your style for a second.
Well, thanks for coming aboard, and thank you. You are officially, hey, my first guest of the Ranger Man Hour. Yay!
Okay.
Thanks for coming aboard. Well, you are from Baltimore, correct?
Yes. Well, I was not actually born here. I've lived here most of my life. So I feel like I can say I'm from Baltimore.
Well, awesome. You passed the Baltimore test.
Yes.
um, well, what like did you have like any like particular famous like musicians like as far as music wise or artists that led you to want to kind of go into that road?
Yeah. So I grew up listening to everything, like every type of genre, thanks to my parents. My dad is from my dad's from Boston, but my mom is from Mexico, and so both of them have such different taste in music. So I grew up listening to like a lot of Mexican music for my mom, but also she loves Queen. She loves like the '80s, so I heard a lot of that stuff too. And my dad, he always played everything. Like he always played punk, reggae, rock, like folk, everything. The one thing he didn't like, ironically, is jazz, which is funny considering that I'm mainly a jazz musician. But I have to give props to my grandfather for that because he, every time I would always go over, he always listened to jazz, and that's pretty much all he listened to. So I think that's where I got a lot of like my jazz influence from. But overall, I would say like those genres in particular. Um, but for artists, for me specifically, I would say like Mac Miller. He's definitely one of my biggest influences. Not necessarily in like the type of music I make, but like just how I want to like put the passion and like everything he had into it, like the same thing I want to do. But I also love like Art Pepper. He's one of my big like saxophone influences. Um, Joe Henderson. I love Dolly Parton, My Chemical Romance. So everything, just like a little bit from every genre. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I know some artists can be like picky as far as like what they listen to and don't, but that's amazing that you have a wide variety of different choices that stand out that you listen to that help benefit where you are today with it. Um, what is your favorite instrument to play?
Definitely saxophone. Saxophone's always that was the first instrument I learned how to play, and that's the one I really focus on. I also play bass. I'm actually in a band called Indie Division. where I play bass too. But saxophone is definitely always going to be my true love.
I'm definitely jealous already because I love the saxophone and I want to learn how to play
It's a lot of fun.
that. um, are you also like a fan of Dave Koz as well, or and other jazz musicians?
I will say I listen to a lot of I listen to like a lot of bebop. I listen to a lot of um, more like the classic stuff, but I'm also start to listen to more modern artists. So like Melissa Aldana, she's one of my favorite saxophonists right now. Um, Cole Freeman, Chris McBride, a lot of like more modern people are starting to pop up in my kind of my playlist. So I've been listening to a lot of them, but I really do listen to a lot of people.
um, when was the first time you played the saxophone?
Oh man. I think I was in fourth grade. Yeah, fourth grade. So I must have been like 9. You in my school, my elementary school, you could play I think a string instrument starting in third grade, and then you had to wait until fourth grade to play a band instrument. And for some reason, I really wanted to play saxophone, and so I remember my parents took me to music and arts. We got the saxophone, and I remember being terrible at it at first because it's my first time playing an instrument. But you know what? I still pushed through. My parents, pushed through having to hear me practice at such a young age. But yeah, definitely when I was 9, I would say.
You ever played the drums?
I've poorly played the drums before. Um, I host jam sessions at a place called Red Emma's, and one time we didn't have a drummer, and we wanted to just do like kind of like a 12 bar blues, and I just kept time pretty much because that was really all I could do. I tried doing a few things, and it ended up terribly. So I would love to be able to play drums. I just don't think I have the coordination for it.
Hey, you never know. I mean, you gotta go past. I mean, I'm sure you have, but you gotta go past Bill's music shop and just tear it up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Um, was there ever a time when you like first like when you knew this was something you wanted to do? Were you ever nervous about wanting to do this or performing in front of an audience?
Yeah, I mean, I still get nervous performing in front of people, and I feel like I've performed a lot. I've done like small things to like bigger shows, and I still feel like no matter what, I always get nervous. Um, I think I was in high school. Originally, I was going to go to school for music education, because I wanted to be a band teacher. Because I grew up and all my band teachers in elementary, middle, and high, they were all so great, and they really helped me like pursue music and encourage me throughout the entire time. Um, and I was gonna go to school for that, and then I realized that I just really like playing, and I really like jazz, and I really just want to pursue that more. So I made the decision to switch actually to performance. And then I realized once I was in school, I was like, okay, I think this is something I want to do. And now I feel like I've been doing like a lot more performances and kind of stepping outside my comfort zone with music. And it was definitely very scary at first because the fear of failure is always like the thing that holds so many people back, myself included. Um, but I think now I've realized like, no, this is definitely what I want to do. Yeah.
Do you have like a well? I believe it's going to happen, but do you have like a dream like musician that you want to work with, or it doesn't matter?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's so many great musicians happening right now in the jazz scene, but I also really love like rap and hip hop, and I always thought it'd be so cool to be on like a Tyler the Creator album, doing like sax track for that, or like Childish Gambino or anything like that.
Okay. Um. Well, where are you today in life? Well, like as far as like what are you doing? Like, are you working on an album or like what are you doing today?
Yeah, so I'm currently composing music. I don't have any definite projects lined up yet. I still am trying to get kind of work. I'm kind of working through my own creative process. But I hope to actually release some music. I know for a while I didn't release any music because I think I was still stuck in my own shell and not wanting to come out. But now I feel like I have the want to do it now, and I feel like I know I can do it. So I'm definitely working on music, but no specific dates yet. Yeah.
Well, don't worry, it's going to happen. On the day that you do work on an album or something comes out there. I mean, I would love to hear your work. Is there a way for fans to? You have like a website or a way for fans to hear your work or on YouTube or anything?
Yeah, I do. My website is actually just johannamcguire.com. And you can also find me on Instagram at Johanna McGuire Music.
Okay, well, I'll put that in the comments later on when I edit and everything, so people can find you and get some fans for it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Um, I did want to ask too, along with that, from what I was saying earlier about with Baltimore, like, are you amazed too that whenever you do see shows or hear music and you find out that there are people that were born and raised here in Baltimore, because Baltimore, has that on the edge with craziness and so forth, but there are people who are born and raised here that are talented like us, and they take off. Like, what does that mean for you?
I mean, it's definitely encouraging, to see other people from here, make it big and actually pursue their dreams and be able to like make a living out of, something as hard as the arts. Um, I was actually talking about this with someone the other day, and it's true. I feel like Baltimore right now is going through a bit of like a renaissance in terms of the arts. Like there's so many talented like musicians and artists and filmmakers and everything. Um, and there's a lot going on right now, and I feel like the city is kind of always overlooked because you always hear the stereotypes of like, oh, it's only crime, like it's only bad things. But if you actually live here, that's not true. You know that the city has so much to offer and that there's so many good things here. um, so it's great to see other artists, like I said, going on the come up and everything. And just I hope they never forget where they come from, right? Because this is a good city and it has a lot to offer.
Right. Um, have you ever been to New York before?
I have, yeah.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I was gonna ask you ever been to Radio City or seen the play or anything out there.
No, I haven't. I think I've only been to like kind of small shows, but I haven't like gone to Broadway or seen anything. I'm going to the Village Vanguard is definitely on my list, and that's where like a lot of big names go to play. Yeah.
Mm. Um, are your well, I don't know. Yeah, but I was gonna ask you, like, is your parents musicians as well?
No, not at all actually, which is really funny because they're always like, we don't know how you were the one to start playing instruments. 'Cause I don't think anyone in my family that I can think of plays instruments, but everyone is a music lover. Everyone does love music, so I think that is definitely the reason.
What advice would you give somebody that wants to pursue musician and the art world as well?
My advice, let me think. Don't hold yourself back is my advice. It's very easy to have some sort of like imposter syndrome and feel like you're not good enough or feel like you can't compete or feel like you're not going to make it. And to be honest, that was something that was holding me back for a while. I always felt like I wasn't good enough. Even though, people would be like, no, like, you're great and everything. But it's one thing to hear it from someone else than to actually believe it. Um, so, take the time, work through it, but just know that whatever you want to do, you really can do. You're your own, biggest enemy. So if you can overcome that, then you can really do anything.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It can be nervous wracking at times, but once you take the right foot out there and put your work out there creatively, I mean, you never know what doors will open.
Right.
Opportunity knocks all the time.
Yeah.
Um, and the other thing I was going to ask is, I know it might be a random question, but like, have you ever been like a motivational speaker or spoke anywhere as far as like college or anywhere, like to give motivation to people?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, of course not. You're busy playing the saxophone. You musically telling people, "Come on, you can do it." So,
Right. I'm
but
trying. Yeah.
yeah. Um. Well, you are young, so but I was going. One thing I ask people, and I'm gonna ask you too. Do you think you have a legacy? Like, what is your own personal legacy?
Oh, man. I don't know. I feel like right now I'm just starting to become the person I am. I'm in my mid 20s. I feel like now I'm starting to get an understanding of just how everything works. You go through your teen years and those are always so awkward. You're so insecure. Um, and then, with just like everything that's been happening in the world, like with COVID, that was such a hard time for people too. And now I feel like I'm just starting to really like learn who I am, not just as a musician, but as a person. So I'm not, I'm not quite sure what everything has in store, what the world has in store for me. But I hope it's something good. And really, my thing is just to help other people, really, just understand that they can do whatever they want to do, no matter like what anyone says. If you really want to do it, and I know that sounds so cliche, but I think it's something that I'm starting to really understand more, and something that I feel resonates more deeply. Um, it's just that if you want to do it, you have to be the one to do it. You can't wait for someone else, because if you're waiting for someone else to do something for you, or to like get you a gig, or do anything you want, it's just you're going to be waiting a while. So you have to be the one to take that chance and be the one to make it happen.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about acting?
No, it's funny though. I actually just did the music for this production that was going on with Quarry Theater, the Red Shoes, and I worked with three amazing actors. And as I was playing the music, and they were all just so talented. I was like, man, I wonder if I could ever do that. I don't necessarily think that's my calling, but it's just amazing how well they can get into character, and how emotional they can be, and just how on top of it they are. Um, so it's always something that I like deeply respect and think it's cool. I just don't know if it's something for me.
I can see it happening. I mean, if you were to do the soundtrack or act, I mean, you could play the villain
Yeah,
or the ex-wife or the matriarch of a family.
right.
And the last thing I was going to ask you was with Christmas around the corner, like what is something about Christmas that's your favorite that stands out?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I don't know. I always love Christmas with my family. It's always nice to, be with everyone. But honestly, I think the best part is just kind of what happens before Christmas, like Christmas Eve. My family excuse me, my family has a tradition of like making grilled cheese and clam chowder for Christmas Eve meal. Like watching
Wow.
Charlie Brown specials, listening to music. So just like the little things about that. But it's always just um so peaceful. And I think that's what I really, really love about it. And also now that I can actually, because before when I was younger I had no money, so I had to make like like try to like do my best to make little gifts. But now that I actually have money and have the ability to give gifts, it's great being able to give gifts to my parents and to my friends and see their reactions. That's always, I think, my favorite part.
You well, I don't know how I don't know how many people would still do this, but I was going to ask at Christmas time, do you ever watch The Grinch, the original one with Jim Carrey?
Oh no, we watch like the old cartoon one. Like the
Okay.
old one. Yeah, that's the one we normally watch.
Okay, because I
Yeah,
know Freeform does the whole 25 days of Christmas, and they show like
really dark. Oh,
you really.
there you
I was like, whoa! I done bored her to sleep. Goodness
go.
gracious.
No, got really dark for some reason.
Hmm. I was saying that Freeform does the 25 days of Christmas, and they show different Christmas movies, sometimes the same, and that's one thing I normally would ask, like, what is their favorite Christmas song or film that stands out to you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I always love the Charlie Brown Christmas special. Um, it's really funny. I think it's because my dad always played these, like the really old, like '60s, like Christmas specials, like A Year Without a Santa Claus, or um, oh, what's the other one? Just like Rudolph, Frosty. All those ones are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And favorite Disney film?
Ooh. Favorite Disney film. I love Mulan, and the soundtrack to Mulan is beautiful. I love Coco. I think Coco's really well, or really done well. Um, oh man, you're putting me on the spot. I'm trying to think of like every Disney movie now. Um, yeah, I'm gonna stick with those two. I'm sure there's definitely others that I can't think of right now, but yeah.
Okay. Um, well, I'm not leaving just yet. I'm just zooming in on you. Like, is there like a final message or word you want to say about yourself or to the family?
Um, let's see. Pretty much just everything I've said before. If you are a local musician, and you ever want to, play with other musicians, I host a jam session at Red Emma's. The next one we have is actually this Tuesday, the 24th. from 6 to 9. So if you want to come, bring your instrument. It doesn't matter how long you've been playing, whether you've been playing for 2 months or 2 years or 2 decades. It really doesn't matter. We'd love to see you there. And just remember who you are in the world. Try to make a positive change. Yeah.
There you go, from the future mayor of Baltimore herself, a musician.
Yeah, Mayor Scott, watch out.
um, Joe, Johanna,
Johanna, yes.
Johanna. Okay, just want to make sure I'm not pronouncing. When I first came across you, I just thought automatically Joanna. Didn't even.
No, you're all
Um,
good.
well, thank you for coming aboard today. I'm glad you became my first guest, and like I said earlier, before off stage, I'm always admired to meet people from Baltimore who are musicians, who are talented. Baltimore has its own recognition for what it is, but it always amazes me that there are people who are talented, who wants to reach out and do things, and no matter where they can go with it, musician, acting, singing, producing, book author, motivational speaker, so forth. I'm always blessed and happy to meet people, and thank you for coming aboard my podcast. Thank you for what you're doing, and I look forward to what the future brings for you.
Of course, thank you for having me on. This is great.
No problem. And pardon my hat with disappearing. I guess the old West just isn't the same in this brick house. So, well, I'm gonna close the show out, and I'll be with you backstage in 1 second.
Great, thank you.
Well, thank you guys for coming aboard today for the Range in That Hour. This was episode 1. Join me next Sunday. Sorry, excuse me. My hat keeps disappearing. The West is just not the same these days. Join me next Saturday around this time. I have Ron Clements from Disney coming by. He's a producer at Disney. He did Hercules, The Princess and the Frog, The Little Mermaid, and so forth. I'm glad to have him aboard. And then Sunday next weekend around this time as well, I'm going to have an animator, Michael Show, come aboard. He is an animation illustrator. He did Hercules and other Disney films as well. So it's Disney next week. It's a Disney theme. So join me next week. I'm looking forward to it. And stay blessed, stay well, and hey, enjoy the weather because the season is changing. Have a good one now.